Sir Jim Ratcliffe considers bold Man United U-turn after ditching Dan Ashworth. Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates. Before continuing this video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest news from Manchester United. Manchester United made the costly decision to sack Dan Ashworth earlier this month, and Chief Executive Omar Barada is still yet to decide what the next step will be. Manchester United are still pondering the best course of action after sacking Dan Ashworth just 5 months after his arrival at Old Trafford. Ashworth left the club at the start of December, officially by mutual consent, but Mirror Football understands he was sacked after clashing with senior figures. The 53-year-old was dismissed with tensions mounting behind the scenes, principally over the appointment of Ruben Amorim. Ashworth preferred the appointment of Thomas Frank or Gareth Southgate and clashed with Chief Executive Omar Barada and others as United's results failed to improve. His exit has eased those tensions, but has also left the club with a major decision to make. Barada and technical director Jason Wilcox, who like Ashworth were both hired this year by the new Ineos hierarchy, have taken on more responsibility for the time being. Former Manchester City executive Barada is the man tasked with deciding what happens next, and the Daily Mail reports that there is plenty of uncertainty at the moment. United had previously decided that they didn't need a direct replacement for Ashworth, just months after they paid £3 million in compensation to Newcastle to end a bitter feud over his departure. And it is now reported that Barada is considering the remit of any new executive appointment, suggesting that the club might move for a lower-ranked hire alongside a reshuffle of the structure. United are not in a rush to replace Ashworth, having perhaps reflected upon their decision to pay Newcastle for his services earlier this year, only to discover he isn't the right fit. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is desperate to get things moving in the right direction following a tumultuous first 10 months at United. Ratcliffe has made it clear that he is ready to take difficult and controversial decisions to turn around the ship, but there have been few signs of success yet. After carrying out an assessment, Ratcliffe slashed 250 jobs at United, making himself very unpopular among some of the remaining staff. But the petrochemicals billionaire is unlikely to care, considering his mission to improve his boyhood club. Manchester United has become mediocre, he told the United We Stand fanzine recently. It is supposed to be one of the best football clubs in the world. We have to make some difficult and unpopular decisions. If you shy away from the difficult decisions, then nothing much is going to change. Ratcliffe told Belgian newspaper De Tid earlier this year, we have to look at the organization of the club because it is not good. Man United and Arsenal could land free transfer in January as agent flies to UK. One Barcelona star has caught the eye of both Man United and Arsenal. Manchester United and Arsenal have been put on red alert following reports that Dani Olmo's agent has flown into the UK. Both clubs have been linked with the Barcelona star, who may be heading for a dramatic exit from the Catalan giants less than 5 months after he rejoined his boyhood club. Barca paid £52 million for the midfielder following Euro 2024, where he was a key figure in Spain's success. However, they were then unable to register to 26-year-old due to financial constraints. The La Liga side were only able to eventually register Olmo within the salary cap after a long-term injury to Andreas Christensen, with rules meaning that 80% of an injured player's salary can be reallocated for a new squad member. Olmo's 6-month temporary contract expires on December 31 and could now leave next month. Manchester United have been heavily linked with the player, as Ruben Amorim prepares to get his squad overhaul underway. Arsenal meanwhile, have reportedly kept regular contact with Olmo's representatives. According to the Mail, Olmo's agent Andy Barra is now in Manchester ahead of the January transfer window opening. He was said to have flown into the city via private jet, in time to attend the Premier League match between Manchester City and Everton. Despite Olmo's preference seemingly being to stay and sort out his registration process with Barca, it now appears that Barra is actively exploring the possibility of his client moving to England. The window opens for English clubs on January 1. Only this week, the 41-cap international told Mundo Deportivo, "This year has been very special, but this is only the beginning. I feel that there is still a lot to do. I want to win titles with Barca and with the national team. Both United and the Gunners appear in need of reinforcements. Arsenal's current injury woes were compounded after their latest win over Crystal Palace, with key man Bukayo Saka now ruled out until February with a hamstring injury. Transfer News Live: Man United offered Marcus Rashford swap as Liverpool prepare £60 million bid. Express Sport brings you the latest transfer news and gossip. Premier League clubs are making their final plans ahead of a busy January transfer window. There are several managers desperate for the funds to improve their squads this winter after a tricky start to the season. There could be further upheaval at Manchester United, where another overhaul could help Ruben Amorim find a winning formula. Over the road at Manchester City, Pep Guardiola has overseen the club's worst period of form in 21 years and has a team that is crying out for improvement. North London rivals Arsenal and Tottenham both need reinforcements. There could even be room for Liverpool and Chelsea to improve after their excellent starts to the campaign. Barcelona enter Alexander-Arnold race. Potentially a huge development in the chase for Liverpool star Trent Alexander-Arnold. According to El Nacional, Barcelona's sporting director Deco is working on a deal to beat Real Madrid to the signature of the Liverpool right-back. His contract runs out in June, but he is free to negotiate with clubs abroad as of January 1. Tottenham linked with Liberali. Tottenham Hotspur are preparing to try and sign 17-year-old Italian sensation Mattia Liberali from AC Milan. According to Milan Live, Spurs have been monitoring the teenage star as long-term backup to James Maddison. Newcastle are set for a transfer battle with Tottenham Hotspur over Paris Saint-Germain defender Milan Skriniar. According to reports, both clubs are keen to bid for the Slovakian international in January. Crystal Palace teenage sensation. Crystal Palace are reportedly after the signing of Slavia Prague left wing-back El Hadji Malik Diouf. According to the Daily Mail, Oliver Glasner is eager to strengthen his defense in January. The 19-year-old Senegalese player has been a revelation in Prague this season. Zaha linked with MLS move. Wilfried Zaha is reportedly set for talks with a host of MLS clubs after falling out of favor at Lyon. The former Premier League player moved to the French club on loan from Galatasaray, but that temporary deal is on the verge of being terminated. According to the Daily Mail, Zaha is being tracked by a number of sides in the US, who are now perturbed by his wage demands. Liverpool start pursuit of £79 million striker. Liverpool are said to have registered their interest in PSG striker Randal Kolo Muani. The French international has struggled since his £79 million move from Eintracht Frankfurt, but according to Sky Germany, Arne Slot believes the forward could become an important part of his attack. Marcus Rashford has again been left out of the Manchester United squad for tonight's Premier League game at Wolves. It now appears certain the ex-England forward will leave Old Trafford in January. Leicester boss Ruud van Nistelrooy is lining up 2 January deals after the Foxes conceded 7 goals without scoring in. Man United transfer news recap, Amad contract update, Rashford U-turn hint, Mount injury, timeline. Manchester United could be busy in the January transfer window as Ruben Amorim looks to put a stamp on his squad after arriving from Sporting CP last month. The January transfer window is set to open next week and Manchester United fans might be hoping they can do some business in the winter market. It's Ruben Amorim's first chance to sign some of his own players after replacing Erik ten Hag as United's new permanent head coach in November, and the Portuguese could be tempted to strengthen his squad. The 39-year-old certainly wouldn't have been impressed with what he saw during their 3-0 defeat against Bournemouth on Sunday, and if anything, that showed that United need to bolster their ranks. Gary Neville suggested that the loss by the Cherries was a positive, so Amorim can see the clear weaknesses in the United squad ahead of the January window, but does Amorim see it the same way? Several players have already been linked with moves to Old Trafford. There are also stars that have been tipped to leave United, including Marcus Rashford after not playing for the last 3 matches. McTominay has told Maguire what he wants to hear amid Napoli links. Scott McTominay has already stressed just how much he is loving life after Manchester United, which may yet influence Harry Maguire to follow his former teammate to Napoli. Approaching the January transfer window, it has been reported Antonio Conte is eyeing his next coup from Old Trafford. With Maguire's contract expiring at the end of the season, Napoli could soon take advantage of the Bosman ruling and begin negotiations next month for a free move ahead of the summer. United's popular undroppable might need to be benched. United fans had more questions than answers as they made an early exit from Old Trafford. Unfortunately, that has become a familiar feeling for supporters who have attended games this season, and United were unable to give their fans something to celebrate ahead of Christmas. It was collectively a poor performance and indicative of United's form that the most consistent performer in the dressing room made such a bad tackle for the penalty. Sporting CP are reportedly set to part company with Ruben Amorim's successor just 6 weeks and 8 games since his appointment. João Pereira has overseen just 3 wins since his arrival, with the club's 5-point lead at the top of the Portuguese league table now vanished. Sporting's defeats to Arsenal and Club Brugge have seen them slip out of the top 8 of the Champions League standings and down to 17th with 2 group games to go. Ruben Amorim's side were beaten 3-0 by Bournemouth on Sunday, inflicting their 7th top-flight defeat of the season. In fact, United sit 13th in the table on just 22 points from their 17 matches, 9 points behind 4th place Nottingham Forest and a staggering 17 adrift of leaders Liverpool.